Yeah, what's going on?
He had to go and break Twitter Spaces for most of the planet just to make me get on this old crappy iPhone.
What happened?
Oh, the thing with the Twitter Spaces where if you're on an Android, it won't let you speak unless you downgrade to an old version of Twitter for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I've been having trouble myself.
Yeah, thankfully I
Something
got
like
this
that.
old iPhone SE version 2 that's not, not updated, so it's probably hacked all the hell, but at least this works. It's kind of, it's I got to figure out the notifications and stuff. But like some people were saying, when they downgraded on Android, it's like they go back to where they're actually seeing the people they want to see and some benefits. So, but it's not really like making me want to go out and get a new Tesla. Uh, it's not really inspiring in that regard.
Hmm.
It's like he can launch a rocket to the space station, but getting Twitter Spaces to work is too much.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of like complaining to the cable company, right?
Oh yeah, I love how all these tech companies. It's like, yeah, we get millions of people to sign up, but text or customer service department is send an email and hope and pray. Kind of like with that Samsung headphone or microphone headphone company. It's like
Mhm.
they've got a phone number. I've called it over and over, and it's closes pretty early here because it's on the East Coast, but they just play the recording. They never answer, and they don't even have. You can't even leave a voicemail. So you got to do the RMA through the email, but pain in the ass. But it's like old Elon could just, one of those guys, Bill Gates, those type of guys, just buy the damn cable company or the telecom or. Well, I guess the cable companies seem they not doing so hot with. I mean, they transitioned to other technologies, but well, I guess yeah, they still do internet with cable, right?
Hmm.
So, but then you got uh, Starlink and Amazon or Bezos's satellite deal when you get that up and running, OneWeb or whatever it is. So they'll have some
Right.
competition there. But for like gaming or low latency stuff, it's hard to beat fiber to Cat 5 or what? No, what is coax? Yeah, I guess it's cable. I'm in a hotel in Anchorage now, so I've actually got some decent Wi-Fi. Uh,
Nice.
I was at a place with the 15 megabit synchronous. I paid the $10 a day to upgrade it to 45, but barely used it. This Hilton has like 8 megabit, but it's nice because well, I've got these two MacBooks, so I've almost got the M1 set up. I got the M2, but haven't really. Yeah, it's just a lot going on. Seems like you've been making some big moves, in the background.
Yeah, it's got, ever since I learned how to program, I kind of started talking more to ChatGPT, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Max
Because
is.
it's like,
It's like I got a friend finally. It's a virtual one, but you know,
well, I used to ask people for help. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Now
it's
I ask a combination of people and ChatGPT.
yeah, because it's like, and then if you got, and then if the person you're asking is using Chat GPT too, and Chat GPT for, you know, Chat GPT as well, then yeah, you got, a couple superhumans interacting. You watch any of the March Madness, or is that's probably not a big thing up in Canada, huh? Hey, Kentucky's up 39-35 on Kansas State, 6 seed against the 3. Uh, my Razorbacks took down defending national champ 1 seed Kansas yesterday, so they're going to Vegas this coming week and weekend. And so I guess I could just die a happy man, especially if we can, yeah, if we can win the next 2 games and get a Final Four for the first time since was it '95? That would be pretty sweet. my dad's team, the Virginia Tech Hokies, lost a close one in the NIT. NIT is kind of a joke though. It's like even if you win it, you're like the 69th. That's pretty funny how they expanded it to 68 teams. So with the 69 meaning if you win the NIT, you're basically the 69th best team in the country. Virginia Cavaliers, where my cousin or whatever was the governor, and then what do you call it, their president or whatever university, and they got the old Darden School of Business. Um, they got knocked out by somebody, but oh, really, really good game on that one. But yeah, it's like you know, a lot of people. I got this guy I met. I was swimming out there in Cook Inlet, which it's funny in Anchorage, people call the cops on you all the time for doing that because we've got one of the largest variation in tidal levels in the world. Um, but there's these, it's like the mud flats where you can get if you stand there, you get sucked in up to your waist. And there was a lady like about 30 years ago where they tried to pull her out with, I don't know, helicopter or tied a rope to her or whatever, and she died because you're stuck in there and the tide comes in, you drown. And so they have to go out and rescue people every once in a while. But it's like if you just carry a stick and pay attention to what you're doing, it's not that bad. But I can go down to even in like Kenai and Soldotna, you get all these people freaking out about it. But there's if you go down to the end of the road, there's this that guy that did the commercials for, was it Motel 6 to keep the lights on, I think. He had this book called End of the Road because it's basically, I mean, it goes a little bit further than Homer, but it's basically the end of the road. And there's this the Homer Spit that extends out into Kachemak Bay there. Anyways, that's a pretty cool place. A lot of weird stuff that happens there. A lot of witches and cocaine, and I was talking to this Navy recruiter. It's their numbers are so low they've extended it to where you can be right up to you reach the age of 42. So I don't think they'd take me, but I talked, because they sent me a Facebook ad or something where it's like 150 grand or whatever they'll give you, but it's almost all student loan repayment. And I'm too old for SEALs or special boat team or anything cool, underwater EOD. But I guess I could do IT in the Navy. Um, Hell, maybe they would take me with I have to get the cases dropped, of course. But oh, my the boy I helped raise since he was 8, somewhat. He thought he had a felony, and I finally look it up for him. All he's got is a couple misdemeanors. So he's eligible, and he actually wants to go in the Air Force, Space Force, and be a fighter pilot. But yeah, so I got him, talked to him, but I don't think uh, he's a pretty willful young man. So, but I think going through basic training would probably be good for him. I imagine it would probably end up being either end up in the brig or was that movie Starship Troopers where you get washed out? There's a scene like that there. I have a feeling it would probably end up that way, but you never know. If you want something bad enough, you can. My dad was in the Air Force and he had a pretty rough time of it because he wasn't he got kicked out of Virginia Military Institute and kicked out of the family because that was not uh, as they're idiots there, with the family history and to do that to him. But Vietnam was starting, and so he went from being a hippie to working on them B-52s that were Strategic Air Command there in California that were going over and blowing the shit out of the men, women, and children of Vietnam. But they put him in Mississippi at one point, and he was helping the big civil rights guy there whose brother got killed, register black voters. But yeah, he strongly discouraged me from joining the military, or I probably, I had a buddy East High that went into the Rangers, I think. And I talked to a recruiter back then, but you got to, sign up a lot of the rights that, they tell you you have. You join the military, and you, then you don't have any. You have the right to do whatever the hell they tell you to do and go die.
Well, it's rich.
Rich, we got a Fort Richardson here, the Army base. Actually, it's a Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson. You know, it's interesting. Like, it seems like I don't know about in Canada, but over on the East Coast and stuff, people are starting to get a little more aware, somewhat of. I think Russia's. Jesus Christ, this woman. Um, with Russia sent their yeah, these notifications pop up on here. I gotta figure out how to. I guess do not disturb would probably do it. I get really disturbed easily, as you probably noticed. Been distracted, but yeah, they sent their big uh, ship over there that could launch some nukes. But it's like we've been dealing with that since I was born. And before that, going back to the Cold War, Russia's always flying their nuclear capable bombers within the 200-mile zone off Alaska. And yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. All the geopolitical stuff.
Where do you think it's going?
I mean, I think we're in. I was in this Bitcoin. I was in four spaces at once. Uh, most of them as listener, but I talked in this Bitcoin space. Sandra was in Coast and DJ Satoshi, and I think it was somebody in there was saying, maybe it was a different one. Anyways, that we're basically in World War III, and I'd agree with that. And I think we're George Floyd's uncle's doing the podcast with my sister. They were just out there for the pre Grammy or Oscar or whatever event they had there, taking picture, talking with John Sally and a bunch of them big stars and stuff. But he's got a book, Uncle Selwyn Jones, called The Silent Civil War, and I think we're in a civil war and a world war, and it's just I think it's going to get louder. Um, you know, you guys had I think it was Dan and Ruben had talked in what's his name, Mario what is Mario Narwhal space with all them big shots about the Silicon Valley Bank and these other bank things that are happening. Fed's moving towards Fed now and the CBDC. Uh, yeah, it's just total warfare. But I kind of, I think I think there's a certain group of powerful people that really want there's all the stuff with the Middle East. I mean, everything comes back to the Middle East, right? uh, Cradle of Civilization and so forth. But uh, the apocalyptic prophecies and so forth. And I think there's a lot of people that want to bring about the apocalypse. Um, I prefer to avoid that, but all it takes is a press of a button. I guess it probably takes. I mean, I think for most of our stuff, it takes like two keys and Biden or whoever to send out the codes from the football. But the North Korea's got nukes. Iran's probably got them. Uh, China and Russia, of course. So, but I grew up on all that stuff, the movies and TV shows, and whatever in the '80s. To get ready for Cormac McCarthy's got that pretty good book, The Road. Um, so you know, I think, and we're in a pretty toxic environment already. Social media, even Twitter, pretty pretty toxic atmosphere, and then all the stuff that's Jesus, that train and nuclear train almost they did there in Ohio, and I think our food, and it's funny how they label all this stuff a conspiracy theory. My brother's was huge on the anti-fluoride movement here in Anchorage for a long time, and everybody just said he was crazy. And then I just saw one about artificial sweetener and how bad that's for you. And I was a food broker for like 7 years, and I had a really hard time selling uh, shit to people to eat. And it's like this is such a big movement in the food and beverage industry to you know have processed foods that aren't really good for you. But there's there's people working. It's like with the water, they got the special straws and different filtration devices for, it's mostly in Africa and third world countries, but probably be useful to have here, something that could filter out even the municipal water. Hell, if you're in like Flint or what was it, Jackson, Mississippi. I don't know how New Orleans is, but probably not that great in the Ninth Ward or those areas, at least not for a while after Katrina. And then even the air we breathe, and I don't know. This, everybody says the chemtrail stuff is another conspiracy theory, but there's this stuff about like I can't remember a former president, uh, Eisenhower or FDR, I think before Kennedy, but yeah, about controlling the weather. And I don't know. It's like in the NSA and DARPA and stuff, they have all these research papers that people just don't pay attention to. But that's part of the plan, I guess, is make relabel the words so they mean something different, and hide everything in plain sight, like with the stuff Snowden put out. I couldn't believe that, how it's like, okay, he risked his life to get all this stuff out there, definitely broke some federal laws, but so has Trump and Biden, and probably everybody else um, in Congress, so, or most of them. So, but yeah, I just kind of, I was just like, I couldn't believe people were just like, oh yeah, it's just the Patriot Act, just do what you got to do. And then you listen to these people that are like co-hosts or speakers on Twitter Spaces. They're like, oh, it's so hard for them to get the right FISA warrants and stuff to tap you. It's like, no, it's not. It's they if they can just say it's an immediate threat, and then not even get the warrant, and then there's stuff that's come out about the FBI and so forth, not just forgetting to ever get it, and then NSA and all of them have everything tapped. So yeah, it is what it is.
Not in my control, you know. So, although it's interesting to talk about, like it's and I've probably gone down these paths a lot. Um, Kind of at that apathetic stage, you know.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
that's a bad thing. That calloused stage.
no, yeah, I hear you on that one. I I and I appreciate the sentiment. What you say about. I've paid attention a little bit in these past year and a half or whatever, and yeah, it's one that you say a lot about. You know, your sphere of influence, basically. I can't remember the exact phraseology you use, but affecting the change you can, and not worrying. or take too much time on the stuff you can't. But you know, um, I can't do anything about it right now, but I can use my limited voice and maybe expand on that. Uh, we'll see.
They didn't speak, they changed reality such that they had spoken.
Where have I heard that before or seen that? Hmm.
That's kind of where I'm at with it, especially with the programming stuff. It's like, oh, how do I replace all the stuff I say to people with an application?
Oh yeah,
So,
it's
you know,
amazing. Like which because it's like and even learning programming. It's like you don't even need. It's like you can learn it like I couldn't believe how fast I picked up Python with ChatGPT. But it's
it's
like it's not
crazy,
like
right?
yeah, and I was listening in on the one where you I think it was Web3. Paul was saying have it explain the nouns, verbs, and adverbs of each line of code, and
Oh, it's
just like put
amazing.
it into Harry
You know,
Potter or
you
Terminator.
know what the beautiful thing about ChatGPT is? It shuts the fuck up. And I'm not making like fun of anything. It's just like you ever talk to somebody and you just want to know where the nearest Pizza Hut is, and they tell you
Yeah,
like this whole thing, and you're just like, no, I just need to know how to make an HTML table with like four boxes, right? And I find that its brevity, I think, is part of the service.
definitely. Yeah, no, I've wasted so much time trying to let's see, what is it here? Trying to speak instead of changing reality because no one's listening. They're just waiting. They're not even waiting usually for their turn to talk. And even if they are, they're thinking about that. You're not changing their mind. Um, and yeah, they just want to talk. And talking. It's like go. Why don't you go to get a friend or a therapist or Chat GPT to talk to? Jesus. But yeah, because I was in that Sanders DJ Satoshi's Bitcoin space. It's like they just go round and round and round and round in circles,
Hmm.
and it's like what's the point of any of this? Like
Yeah,
you're not talking about anything. It's the
I
same
understand.
thing.
I understand, like talking about it for I don't know a week. You know what I mean? A little while, but I mean, I think that since that's most of the people, right? That's actually most of the people. It's kind of like it goes from the dog park to the barber shop. You know what I mean? And now we're going
How's
to
the
complain about
Oh
corporations.
yeah, like
And
talking at the
now we're
barber
going to
shop.
talk about regulation. Now we're going to talk about we're going to put someone up there as a scapegoat that, see, this person represents the worst of humanity. We need to guillotine them. Yes, let's crucify them. And it just like, this is boring. You know what I mean? Like, and once you get to the crux of it, which is that like diagram above that I saw, where it's like, you know what? Am I really going to try to control with my brain the performance of NASCAR races off in the distance? You know what I mean? Like, it's so stupid. Like, oh yeah. And even if I wanted to, if I really wanted to make those changes, I'd be working my fucking ass off. And there people are, right? Now you can pretend that, complaining about it. It's easier to describe a problem than to solve it, to heal. So,
Yeah,
it's like, yes, 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 that's the problem. Yes, 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 that's the problem. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's a problem too. Let me guess, there's a lot of problems? Uh-huh. Okay. So what's the alternative? How have the other solutions worked out? Okay. So you want to implement that solution? Have you implemented in your own life? No? Well, what the fuck are we talking about then? Oh, you want other people to implement it and see how it goes. Oh, okay. All right. So what are you gonna do? Do an experiment with their money? Okay. Well, There's ways to do that, you know, but it's I get it. It's going back to the LARPing and the masquerading. It's up to me. It's not up to me to change how people speak, in a lot of ways. I'd rather be in a room here talking to you than be on stage with a bunch of folks trying to talk about fucking regulating AI or whatever else shit they're concerned about and want to
Right? Oh, AI
show
is
off
taking
their
my job.
intelligence.
AI is bad for the kids. It's like, shut up. Like,
Shut
go
up.
use it.
You're bad for the kids.
Right?
I'd
Yeah.
rather have ChatGPT. If it was a choice between them and ChatGPT, I'd give them ChatGPT.
Like, go play the kids some rap music or some steel pan, stuff out of Africa or Guyana or whatever, instead of the bullshit you're feeding them. It's like the food, like the prison food, jail food is actually, it's weird. Not weird, it's intentional, but the like pre-trial jail food is much worse than if you're actually in the pen, from what I've seen. But uh, like with Michelle Obama's thing with it's funny, we got the military youth academy on base, and it's like it's like a military school, and really good for the kids that take advantage of it. I knew this guy Mario in the kitchen there. Uh, I make sales calls too, and had a number of like people I know whose kids went through it, and very beneficial for them, helping them get jobs and stuff. But with Michelle's plan, it's like they weren't even allowed to feed, because these kids are doing PT and everything, and then they can't feed them, and it's just bullshit. And then they made like sweet potato fries, a vegetable, and it's it's funny when I had the TBI and all that stuff happened with the cops in January 2017. I was I was trying to start a riot almost just to get my phone call and get out of jail, because we had the school show in like a day or two, and they have all the school districts from the state, and Anchorage is the largest city, largest school district, and they always like Wasilla out in the valley, where a lot of the conservative, mostly white folks have moved to, um, would buy better food, but Anchorage would always get the I hated school lunch back in the day, and it's even worse now, I think. And it's like the little pizzas and burritos and stuff, but it's all processed to hell crap. And Jamie Oliver had that Food Revolution show where it was like, going around the country or the world to places where they're actually preparing, you know, fresh food for the kids and stuff. Yeah, like here I'm in Anchorage now, and it's like they have a central, they have these kitchens in the school, but they've moved to a central kitchen thing. So they throw all that crap on a tray and wrap it up, and then rewarm it or keep it warm at the schools. So it's just it's a damn shame. But yeah, I like Covey's thing, Stephen, whatever Covey, and it's just I don't I look at it like I'm pretty sure I don't have much time left, so I'm just I'm definitely trying to do, too much and influence everything. But it's like just I feel like if I can get the game launched, or I can maybe live on through that, sort of like Ready Player One. I really liked the movie was all right, but this is a Disneyfied version. But I really liked the audiobook with that Wesley Crusher guy read it. I had a bicycle a guy at work loaned me, and I would say the best food sales rep in Alaska. He was at Food Services of America, FSA. He was a big bike rider. He'd go down to like Arizona and stuff, and go on those long bike rides and everything. And he taught me a lot about sales, and he had a system for like on your notebook or your piece of paper there, doing like a little circle for all the next to your list of the stuff you had to do the day, and then fill in the circle or cross it out or whatever. And he helped me work on that bike when something broke on it. but he was riding his bike. It was about 7, 8 years ago, and just in the neighborhood there, headed out to go down the trail towards the mountains or whatever. And this girl, she was the son, or excuse me, daughter of a attorney, local lawyer, and she'd been partying and the night before, and she just backed up and ran him over and killed him. And she got like maybe a few months in jail, and they even let her finish college and go. And I was wanting to go sign up for her college class and just give her shit because they did a bunch of bumper stickers like these green bumper stickers about watching out for bike riders for this Jeff Dusenbury was his name. But this guy, the partner at the company I worked at, Superior, Scott, was saying how Jeff had actually run somebody over on a bike when he was younger, killed them. So I don't know what the point of all that is, but it was. Oh, the point was about the justice system and how criminal it is, and if you're connected to the judges and the lawyers and stuff, then or the politicians, it's but it's like you always say, it's like what's changed for the past however many thousands of years.
Not much.
The more things stay the same, the more they stay the same.
We create technology to recreate the human experience. So the tools are as much a reflection of us as anything else. We used the first time we found tools, we wiped out everything in competition to us, right? And guns, germs, and steel, right?
Yeah,
You
it's a
can
good
track
book.
it through history, right? Whether it's called technology or antibiotics or learning fucking medicine because you're repairing wounds on the battlefield. It's what did Durant say? History is the only true psychology. So it's like I kind of when you see that and you really just stand back from it and say, "Oh, we have new tools, but we're playing out the human experience as long as we can." One, I feel lucky to be alive during this time, right? Because for all we know, we're the only people in the universe that have had this crazy ass experience of being quasi meat body silicon light machines.
Yeah, well, it's like all this sci-fi stuff from I was really heavy into sci-fi when I was younger, and I mean still in, or don't read as much, but yeah, it's we're there. It's like it's but it's
We're
interesting,
there.
like the history of it was all written about, and it's like these people predicted, like a lot of these sci-fi authors were like futurists.
Yeah. And so when you talk to new folks that, read a Wikipedia article one day and, want to tell you where things are going, it's like, you don't even know where things have been. How are you going to tell me where things are going, let alone how things are? What do you want to call this episode? This is a good episode. I want to save this one.
Okay, let me think about it. Let me ask
Inter-
ChatGPT.
Interview with the vampire.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Or how about interview with a zombie vampire?
The zombie vampire. And let's see if there's a zombie. Yes. Let's see if there's a vampire. Check it out.
You making some AI art?
Take a look.
It's not coming up yet.
Oh, it's at the top.
Well, it hasn't popped up yet. It's the little delay Twitter, at least for me.
Oh,
Oh,
the
it's
title of
there.
the
It is.
space.
Oh, no, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got the uh emojis. I see. Nice. I like it.
All right. Any final words to cap off this microcast?
Yeah. Put your trust in God and love your neighbor and love yourself. And because I think and Chat GPT, of course. And then you can expand your sphere of influence.